Late night, cold rain. Empty alley behind an old apartment complex. A single dad, 40 years old, worn jacket, just finished his night shift. He hears a weak groan through the rain. Behind the dumpster, a female police officer, lying motionless, uniform soaked in blood, gun fallen several feet from her hand. His phone buzzes, text from his daughter. Dad, when are you coming home? He kneels down, checks her pulse, breathing weak, pupils dilating. He looks at his watch. If he does not stop the bleeding in 60 seconds, she will die. But if he touches her, he could be seen as a suspect. He stands between two choices, and the clock is ticking backwards. 60 seconds, 59, 58. What would you do? Type 60 if you would step in even when the clock is against you. His name is Daniel Reed, 41 years old, single father, night shift maintenance technician, the kind of work nobody notices, the kind of man nobody remembers. His wife died 4 years ago. Cancer, quick and cruel. Now it is just him and Emma, 9 years old, brown hair, big eyes, always waits for him to come home before she sleeps. Daniel lives quietly, no close friends, no social media, no conversations about his past. He works from 10 at night until 6 in the morning. He fixes broken pipes. He repairs electrical panels. He cleans machinery that nobody else wants to touch. He comes home. He makes Emma breakfast. He walks her to school. Then he sleeps while the world moves on without him. This is his routine. This is his life. Nobody asks questions. Nobody looks twice. But tonight, everything changed. Daniel was walking home through the alley behind his apartment, the shortcut he takes every night. The rain was heavy. The streetlights were dim. That is when he heard it. A sound. Weak. Barely human. He stopped. Most people would keep walking. Most people would pretend they heard nothing. But Daniel is not most people. He turned toward the dumpster. He saw the blood first. Dark. Spreading in the rain. Then he saw her. A police officer. Female. Mid-30s. Blonde hair matted with rain and blood. Uniform torn. Badge still pinned to her chest. She was dying. Daniel knelt beside her. His hands moved automatically. He checked her pulse. He assessed the wound. He calculated blood loss. And that is when something became clear. Daniel knew exactly which artery to compress. He knew exactly how to maintain her airway. He knew exactly how to keep someone alive when every second mattered. This was not instinct. This was training. Training that nobody in his current life knew he had. The officer's eyes fluttered open. She looked at him, not with fear, with recognition, like she knew what he was. She whispered, "They are coming back." Daniel looked around. The alley was empty, but he felt it, the weight of eyes watching. He pulled out his phone, dialed 911. "I need an ambulance. Officer down. Gunshot wound. Losing blood fast." The dispatcher asked his location. He gave it. Then she asked, "Sir, are you trained in first aid?" Daniel hesitated. "Just send help." He hung up. He tore off his jacket, pressed it against the wound, applied pressure. The blood kept coming. The officer grabbed his wrist. Her grip was weak but desperate. "Don't let them finish it." "Finish what?" "The cover-up." Daniel's jaw tightened. He did not ask more. He did not need to. He had seen cover-ups before. He had been part of operations that never made it into reports. He knew what happened to people who got in the way. The sirens were getting closer. Red and blue lights flickered against the wet brick walls. Daniel looked down at his hands, covered in blood. He looked at the officer. Still breathing? Barely. He thought about Emma, alone at home, waiting. And he thought about the choice he just made. There was no going back now. The ambulance arrived. Then the police, 5 cars, 10 officers, all with weapons drawn. Daniel stood slowly. He raised his hands. "I am the one who called." One officer shouted, "Get on the ground!" Daniel did not resist. He knelt. He put his hands behind his head. Another officer ran to the wounded woman, checked her vitals. "She is alive, barely." They lifted her onto a stretcher, loaded her into the ambulance. Daniel stayed on his knees. Rain pouring down, blood washing off his hands. An officer approached him, older, Gray hair, hard eyes. What is your name? Daniel Reed. What were you doing here? Walking home. You just happened to find her? Yes. The officer stared at him, suspicion thick in the air. We will see about that. They brought Daniel to the station. Not as a witness, as a suspect. He sat in a cold interrogation room. Metal table, 2 chairs, one-way mirror. His jacket was gone. Evidence, his shirt was stained with blood. His hands were clean now, but he could still feel the weight of it. A detective walked in, tall, sharp suit, cold expression. I am Detective Ramos. You are not under arrest, but you are not free to leave either. Daniel said nothing. Ramos sat down. He opened a folder. He pulled out photos of the crime scene. Officer Sarah Hewitt, 12 years on the force, decorated, respected, shot twice in the chest. He slid the photo toward Daniel. And you just happened to there. Daniel met his eyes. I was walking home, through an alley in the rain at 2 a.m. It is my usual route. Ramos leaned back. Do you know Officer Hewitt? No. Ever seen her before? No. Then why did you stop? Daniel's jaw tightened. Because she was dying. Ramos smiled. Not friendly, clinical. Most people would run. Most people would call 911 and leave. But you stayed. You touched her. You applied pressure to the wound. You knew exactly what to do. He leaned forward. Where did you learn that, Mr. Reed? Daniel looked down. First aid courses. Which ones? I do not remember. You do not remember. Silence. Ramos pulled out another document. You worked night maintenance. Before that, you worked security. Before that, nothing. No records. No employment history before 8 years ago. Daniel's stomach tightened. Where were you before that, Daniel? That is personal. A police officer almost died tonight. Nothing is personal anymore. Daniel clenched his fists under the table. He wanted to leave. He wanted to call Emma. He wanted to disappear. But he knew how this worked. Running made you guilty. Silence made you suspicious, so he stayed. Hours passed. They asked the same questions in different ways. They pressed. They waited. They watched. Daniel gave the same answers. Short, direct, true, but not complete. Finally, Ramos stood up. We are holding you for 24 hours, pending investigation. I did not do anything wrong. Then you have nothing to worry about. Ramos left. Daniel sat alone. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The clock on the wall ticked slowly. He thought about Emma. She would wake up soon. She would see that he never came home. She would be scared. He pulled out his phone. One text. One chance. Sweetheart, I am okay. I helped someone last night. The police are just asking questions. I will be home soon. I love you. He hit send. Then they took his phone. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Officer Sarah Hewitt was in surgery. The doctors worked for 3 hours. They removed 2 bullets. They repaired a punctured lung. They transfused 4 units of blood. When she finally stabilized, the surgeon walked out to the waiting officers. She is alive, barely. If she had arrived 5 minutes later, she would not have made it. One officer asked, did she say anything? Just one thing before she went under. She said he saved me. The officers exchanged looks. The civilian? Yes. Back at the station, Daniel was moved to a holding cell. Not a jail cell, not officially, but close enough. He sat on a bench, concrete walls, metal door, no windows. Another man was in the corner, drunk, passed out. Daniel leaned his head back. He closed his eyes. He thought about the last time he was in a situation like this. Years ago, different country, different uniform. He thought about the choices he made back then, the missions that never made it into reports, the people he saved who never knew his name. He thought about why he left, because he wanted a normal life, because he wanted to be a father, because he was tired of living in the shadows. But tonight, the shadows found him again. The door opened. A different officer, younger, less hostile. Mr. Reed, someone posted your bail. Daniel blinked. What? You are free to go. Who posted it? The officer shrugged. Anonymous donor. Paid in full. Daniel stood slowly, suspicion prickling his spine. Nobody knew he was here. Nobody except the police. So who paid? He walked out of the holding area. He collected his belongings, phone, wallet, keys. As he stepped into the lobby, he saw a man standing by the window. Older, 50s, gray beard, military posture. The man turned. Their eyes met. Recognition hit Daniel like a punch. He knew this man. The man smiled. Calm, knowing. Hello, Reed. Long time. Daniel's blood went cold. This was not a coincidence. This was not a rescue. This was a message. The man's name was Marcus Hale, former operations commander. Black Ops, the kind of unit that did not exist on paper. Daniel had not seen him in 8 years. Marcus walked closer. His footsteps echoed in the empty lobby. You look different, Reed. Softer. Daniel's voice was flat. What do you want? To thank you. You saved one of ours. Daniel's eyes narrowed. Officer Hewitt? Marcus smiled. She was more than just a cop. Daniel felt the ground shift beneath him. She was undercover. Deep cover, 18 months, infiltrating a trafficking ring that has connections all the way to the top. Marcus stopped a few feet away. She was close to exposing them, too close. So they tried to eliminate her. Daniel's fists clenched. And you let her walk into that alley alone? We did not know they had made her, not until it was too late. So you used her as bait. Marcus did not deny it. She knew the risks. Daniel stepped forward, anger rising. She almost died. But she did not, because you were there. Marcus tilted his head. You still have the instincts, Reed. You assessed the wound. You applied pressure correctly. You kept her airway clear. You did not panic. He paused. Most civilians would have frozen. But you are not a civilian, are you? Daniel's jaw tightened. I was. 8 years ago. Were you, or did you just stop wearing the uniform? Silence. Marcus pulled out a phone. He showed Daniel a photo. The alley, blood on the ground, footprints, shell casings. 2 shooters, professional. They waited for her to call for backup. Then they ambushed her. He swiped to another photo, but something scared them off. They left before finishing the job. Marcus looked directly at Daniel. It was you. They saw you coming. They ran. Daniel shook his head. I did not see anyone. Because they did not want you to. Marcus put the phone away. Reed, the people who did this are not street criminals. They are organized. They are funded. They are protected. And they are still hunting Sarah. Daniel's blood went cold. She is in a hospital, surrounded by cops. That did not stop them before. Marcus handed him a card, no name, just a number. If you want to help her finish what she started, call to me. Daniel stared at the card. I am not coming back. I am not asking you to. I am asking you to do what you already did tonight. Save a life. Marcus turned to leave, then he stopped. By the way, Reed, your daughter Emma, she is safe at home with a neighbor. I made sure of it. Daniel's heart stopped. You were watching my daughter? No, I was protecting her. There is a difference. Marcus walked out. Daniel stood alone in the lobby. The card felt heavy in his hand. He walked outside. The rain had stopped. The sky was turning gray with dawn. He pulled out his phone. He called Emma. She answered immediately. Dad! Hey, sweetheart. I am on my way home. Are you okay, Mrs.? Chen said you had to help the police. I did. Everything is fine now. Dad, were you scared? Daniel paused. He thought about the 60 seconds in that alley, the choice, the blood, the weight of knowing. A little, but I am okay now. I'm proud of you, Dad. His throat tightened. I love you, Emma. Love you too. He hung up. He looked at the card in his hand. He thought about throwing it away. He thought about going home and pretending tonight never happened. But he could not, because somewhere in a hospital, Officer Sarah Hewitt was lying unconscious, vulnerable, still a target, and somewhere in the shadows, the people who tried to kill her were planning their next move. Daniel thought about the 60 seconds in that alley, He thought about the choice he made. He thought about what Marcus said. You are not a civilian. Maybe he was right. Maybe Daniel never really left. He just changed uniforms. He put the card in his pocket. Then he walked home. Later that morning at the hospital, Sarah woke up. The machines beeped steadily. The fluorescent lights hurt her eyes. Her chest felt like it was on fire. A nurse noticed. Officer Hewitt, you are awake. Do not move. You are safe. Sarah's voice was raspy. The man, the one who found me. He saved your life. The doctors said if he had not stopped the bleeding, you would not have made it. Where is he? The police questioned him. Then he was released. Sarah tried to sit up. Pain shot through her chest. She gasped. Careful, you have stitches. Sarah grabbed the nurse's arm. I need to talk to someone. Detective Ramos. Tell him it is urgent. The nurse hesitated. You need to rest. Please, the nurse nodded and left. 10 minutes later, Detective Ramos walked in. Officer Hewitt, you are lucky to be alive. Sarah's eyes were sharp despite the pain. The man who found me, Daniel Reed. What did you learn about him? Ramos pulled out his notes. Not much. Works maintenance, single father, clean record. But his background before 8 years ago is blank. No employment, no records, nothing. Sarah's expression darkened. Nothing? Either he was off the grid or someone erased it. Sarah closed her eyes. Someone erased it. Ramos leaned forward. You know him? No, but I know what he is. What do you mean? Sarah looked directly at him. The way he handled the bleeding, the way he stayed calm, the way he knew exactly what to do. That was not first aid training. That was combat medicine. Ramos frowned. You think he is military? I think he is something more than that. Sarah's voice dropped. Ramos, the people who shot me were professionals. They do not miss, but they left before finishing. Why? Ramos thought. They were interrupted by Daniel Reed, a maintenance worker who just happened to walk through that alley at the exact right moment. She paused. That is not coincidence. That is intervention. Ramos stared at her. You think someone sent him? Sarah shook her head. No, I think he was already there, and someone wanted him to be. She reached for her water. Her hand shook. Find out who Daniel Reed really is before they do. Where did you learn combat bleeding control? The question hung in the air like smoke. 2 days passed. Daniel went back to work. He fixed pipes. He repaired machines. He pretended everything was normal. But nothing was normal. Every shadow felt like it was watching. Every car that slowed down felt like a threat. Every stranger who looked too long felt like a warning. He kept Marcus's card in his pocket. He had not called, but he had not thrown it away either. On the third day, he received a call. Unknown number. He answered. Hello? A woman's voice, weak but determined. Mr. Reed? Who is this? Officer Sarah Hewitt, the woman you saved. Daniel stopped walking. He was in the hallway of his apartment building, alone. How did you get my number? I am a cop. I can get anyone's number. A pause. I wanted to thank you. Daniel's throat tightened. You do not need to thank me. Yes, I do. You saved my life. You risked everything. You did not know me. You did not owe me anything, but you stayed. Her voice cracked. I need to know why. Daniel leaned against the wall. He closed his eyes. Because it was the right thing to do. That is not enough. Most people do not do the right thing when it costs them. She was right. Daniel exhaled slowly. I have a daughter, 9 years old. I want her to grow up in a world where people help each other, where doing the right thing matters. Sarah was quiet for a moment. What is her name? Emma. Does she know what you did? She knows I helped someone. Does she know who you used to be? Daniel's eyes opened. His blood went cold. What are you talking about? Sarah's voice was calm, clinical. I did some digging, Mr. Reed. Your background disappears 8 years ago. No records, no employment, no history. That does not happen by accident. Daniel said nothing. The way you handled my wound, the way you stayed calm under pressure, The way you assess the situation without hesitation, that is not civilian training. That is military, special operations. Maybe something darker. Daniel's hand tightened around the phone. Who are you, Daniel Reed? He wanted to hang up. He wanted to disappear, but he knew that would only make things worse. I was someone else, a long time ago, but that person does not exist anymore. Does Marcus Hale know that? Daniel's heart stopped. How do you know Marcus? Because he visited me yesterday. He told me you used to work together. He told me you were one of the best. He told me you walked away. She paused. He also told me the people who shot me are still looking for me, and they are looking for you now too. Daniel felt the walls closing in. Why me? Because you were there. Because you saw something. Because you are a loose end. Daniel's mind raced. I did not see anything. It does not matter. They do not take chances. Sarah coughed, pain in her voice. Mr. Reed, I'm going to finish what I started. I am going to bring down the people who did this. But I need help. Owen, I am not a cop. I do not need a cop. I need someone who knows how to survive. Daniel looked down the hallway, empty, quiet. He thought about Emma, safe at school, innocent, unaware. He thought about the 60 seconds in that alley, the choice he made. He thought about what Sarah just said. They are looking for you too. If he walked away, they would still come. If he helped, maybe he could end it. What do you need? Sarah's voice steadied. Meet me tomorrow. I will send you the location. Okay. She hung up. Daniel stood in the hallway. The card in his pocket felt heavier now. He pulled it out. He stared at the number. Then he made the call. Marcus answered on the first ring. I knew you would call. Daniel met Marcus the next evening. A quiet cafe, corner booth, nobody listening. Marcus was already there, coffee untouched, eyes sharp. Daniel sat down. You knew this would happen. Marcus smiled. I knew you would not be able to walk away, not after saving her life. You used me. I gave you a choice. You made it. Daniel leaned forward. What do you really want? Marcus's expression turned serious. Sarah Hewitt is not just a cop. She is the key to bringing down a network that has been operating for 15 years. Trafficking, money laundering, corruption at every level. And they know she is getting close, so they tried to eliminate her. Daniel's jaw tightened. Why not just pull her out? Because she is too deep. If we pull her now, we lose everything. The case collapses, they disappear, and they come back stronger. Marcus slid a folder across the table. This is everyone she has connected to the network. Politicians, judges, law enforcement, even people in our own agencies. Daniel opened the folder. Photos, names, evidence. If this gets out, it will destroy careers. It will expose operations. It will start a war. Marcus leaned back. That is why they want her dead. And now they want you dead too. Daniel closed the folder. I did not sign up for this. You signed up the moment you knelt in that alley. Silence. Marcus's voice softened. Reed, I know you left for a reason. I know you wanted a normal life. I respect that. But you have a skill set that most people do not have. You know how to protect people. You know how to stay alive when everything is falling apart. Sarah needs that. Emma needs that. Daniel looked up. Do not bring Emma into this. She is already in this. The moment you save Sarah, you put a target on your back. And targets do not stay isolated. Daniel's blood ran cold. Marcus stood up. Meet Sarah tomorrow. Hear her out. Then decide. He dropped cash on the table and walked out. Daniel sat alone, the folder in front of him, the weight of the choice pressing down. He thought about the 60 seconds in that alley. He thought about the decision he made. He thought about the man he used to be, the missions, the sacrifices, the things he did that he could never tell Emma. He thought about the man he tried to become, the quiet father, the invisible worker, the person who just wanted peace, but peace was a luxury. And tonight it felt further away than ever. The next day, Daniel walked into a small warehouse on the edge of the city. Sarah was waiting, dressed in civilian clothes, bandages still visible under her jacket. She looked at him, no smile, just recognition. Thank you for coming. Daniel nodded. Then the door behind him opened. He turned. A man stepped inside. Tall, armed, professional. Daniel's instincts kicked in. His body tensed. Sarah raised her hand. It is okay. He is with me. The man walked closer. He stopped a few feet away. Then he spoke, his voice calm, familiar. Hello, Reed. It has been a long time. Daniel's world stopped. He knew that voice. The man smiled. Did you really think you could disappear? Should he reveal his past in part 2? Comment, reveal. There are decisions that do not give you time to think. They only give you 60 seconds to be human. Daniel did not know what he would lose. He only knew one thing. If he turned his back, he would lose himself. The right choice is not always the safe choice, but it is the only choice that lets you sleep at night. And when the clock is ticking, when everything is on the line, you do not need permission to do what is right. You just need courage. Subscribe if you believe doing the right thing does not need permission.